Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going on a deep dive into generative AI.
Ooh, exciting.
It is. We'll be looking at this report called Deep POV Generative AI.pdf
Right.
and trying to understand just what this is all about and get ready for some aha moments because this is some really groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
Hmm.
I think what's so remarkable about generative AI is its ability to create.
Okay.
We're not just talking about, analyzing data, but like generating new content,
Wow.
music, art, even algorithms themselves.
I'm already intrigued.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, can you give us a clear definition? What exactly is generative AI?
So generative AI uses unsupervised learning algorithms to produce unique content based on the input data.
Yeah.
It's kind of like giving an AI a toolbox, full of raw materials and letting it build something completely new.
So it's like those AI image generators that create realistic pictures from text descriptions.
Look at it.
I saw one that made a photo of a cat riding a unicorn on a rainbow. It was incredibly detailed.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Tools like Google Imagen are really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with generative AI.
Wow.
And what's even more fascinating is how these models differ from traditional AI applications. Instead of cleaning data or making predictions, they're focused on creation.
Okay. I'm starting to see the distinction, but I have to admit, the technical side of this still feels a bit mysterious. How do these generative AI models actually work? What's going on under the hood?
Well, there are several key techniques driving this field,
Okay.
each with its own strengths. One of the most groundbreaking is the use of generative adversarial networks, or GANs for short.
GANs. I've heard that term before. It sounds pretty intense.
They're quite powerful. Imagine two neural networks kind of locked in a creative battle. One network, the generator, creates new content, while the other, the discriminator, tries to judge whether the generated content is real or fake.
So they're constantly challenging each other to improve.
Precisely. The genius of GANs lies in this adversarial process. By pitting these networks against each other, you essentially accelerate their learning and push the boundaries of what's possible.
That's fascinating. So this creative duel is what leads to those hyper-realistic images and videos we're seeing online.
It's a big part of it, and the research in this area is exploding. We're seeing AI generate photorealistic images of everything from bedrooms to human faces, even cartoon characters.
Pokemon.
Exactly, Pokemon.
That's pretty wild. I'm curious, are there other techniques besides GANs that are driving the progress of generative AI?
Absolutely. Another important area involves transformer-based models. These models excel at processing sequential data like text and code. They're especially powerful for natural language processing tasks.
Okay, this is where I sometimes get lost in the technical jargon. Can you break down what transformer-based models are and why they matter for generative AI?
Sure, think of them as like highly specialized language experts. They can understand context, relationships between words, and even subtle nuances in language. This makes them incredibly useful for tasks like translation, text summarization, and even writing different kinds of creative content.
So are these the models behind those AI chatbots that can hold conversations and write stories?
You got it. Models like BERT and Roberta are examples of transformer-based models that are making waves in the field of natural language processing. And then there's GPT-3, which can generate remarkably human-like text, write different kinds of creative content, and even answer your questions in an informative way.
Wow, that's remarkable. It seems like generative AI is making huge strides in both the visual and language realms.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder, with all this progress, what's the real-world impact? Is this technology just a novelty, or is there genuine market potential?
Well, while it's still early days, the market potential is undeniably huge. Generative design, which is a subset of generative AI, is projected to reach over $529 million by 2027. And that's just a small piece of the pie. When you consider the broader applications of generative AI across industries, the possibilities are truly mind-boggling.
That's a staggering number. But given how new this technology is, I wonder if those projections are realistic. What are your thoughts on the potential adoption of generative AI in the near future?
That's a fair point. While the hype is undeniable, we're still in the early stages of understanding how to effectively integrate generative AI into different industries. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, but the excitement is justified because we're already seeing its impact across various sectors.
Right.
Let's start with healthcare.
Healthcare is a great example. I can imagine AI playing a huge role in analyzing medical images and potentially speeding up diagnoses.
Absolutely. Imagine an AI that can detect subtle abnormalities in X-rays that even the most experienced radiologist might miss. And beyond diagnostics, generative AI can create synthetic medical data, which is incredibly valuable for research and development, especially when real patient data is limited or sensitive.
So it's not just about improving accuracy, but also enhancing privacy and data security. That's a win-win.
Yeah.
What other industries are being impacted by this technology?
Another exciting area is life sciences.
Hmm.
Generative AI is revolutionizing drug discovery. Imagine AI generating potential molecular structures for new medications. Gartner predicts that 50% of drug development will utilize generative AI by 2025.
Wow, that's just a few years away. It seems like we're on the cusp of some major breakthroughs in medicine. What about other fields like media and entertainment? Are there applications there as well?
Absolutely. Generative AI is transforming how we create and consume content. Think about old films being restored to their former glory in stunning 4K resolution, or video games with realistic 3D models created by AI.
So it's like having a virtual artist or special effects team at your fingertips.
That's a great way to put it. And the possibilities go beyond visuals. Generative AI is also being used to create realistic sound effects and even compose original music.
That's incredible. It sounds like there's really no limit to what this technology can do. What about finance? I've heard whispers of AI being used to detect fraud.
You're right on the mark. Generative AI is incredibly powerful for analyzing patterns and identifying anomalies. This makes it a valuable tool for detecting fraudulent transactions in real time. It's like having an incredibly vigilant security guard constantly monitoring your financial data.
That definitely gives me peace of mind. What about software development? Is generative AI making its mark there as well?
Absolutely. One fascinating application is in automating coding tasks. Imagine AI generating code snippets, automating repetitive tasks, and even empowering non-coders to build simple applications.
That's remarkable. It sounds like this technology could democratize software development, making it more accessible to everyone. Are there any other real-world applications you want to highlight before we move on?
Oh, there are so many fascinating examples to choose from. One that comes to mind is in the realm of retail and e-commerce. Generative AI can personalize the shopping experience, tailoring product recommendations and marketing campaigns based on individual preferences.
So it's like having a personal shopper who knows your tastes better than you do.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this level of personalization goes beyond retail. Generative AI can even personalize educational materials, tailoring content to individual learning styles and needs.
That's amazing. It sounds like generative AI is poised to revolutionize almost every industry imaginable. But with all this talk of possibilities, I'm curious to dig deeper into the technical side of things. Let's go back to those GANs for a moment. You mentioned earlier that they're responsible for some of the most impressive visual feats we're seeing in AI. Can you give us more specific examples of what they can do?
Absolutely. One area where GANs are excelling is image-to-image translation.
Okay.
Imagine taking a daytime photo of a city and transforming it into a nighttime scene, or converting a simple sketch into a photorealistic image. They could even transform a horse into a zebra.
That's truly remarkable. It's like digital alchemy. What else can these jams do?
They're also being used for text-to-image translation, generating images from textual descriptions.
Yeah.
Imagine typing a small bird with a red head, feathers fading to gray, and the AI creates a visual representation based on your words.
That's incredible. So you could literally describe anything you can imagine, and the AI could create a visual representation of it.
That's the idea.
Wow.
And the applications go beyond creating pretty pictures. GANs are being used for practical tasks like face aging, generating photos of faces at different ages, and photo in-painting, seamlessly filling in missing parts of images, or even repairing intentionally damaged photos.
This is all so impressive. It's clear that GANs are a powerful tool with a wide range of applications. But I have to imagine there are also challenges and limitations to this technology, right?
You're absolutely right. As with any emerging technology, there are important considerations to keep in mind.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's talk about those in the next part of our deep dive. All right, so we've seen all these amazing things generative AI can do, but
Yeah.
I know there's always another side to the story. What are some of the challenges and limitations that we need to be aware of as this technology develops?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges, and it's one we face with many powerful technologies,
Right.
is ensuring responsible use.
Yeah.
Generative AI has the potential to be misused, so we need to be cautious.
Can you give us some specific examples of potential misuse? I'm trying to wrap my head around what could go wrong.
Sure. Think about the ability to create, like, hyper-realistic fake content. This could be used to spread misinformation, create deepfakes that damage reputations, or even generate phishing scams that are incredibly convincing.
Those are some unsettling scenarios. It sounds like we need robust security measures and ethical guidelines to prevent these kinds of abuses.
Absolutely. And beyond the potential for malicious use, there are also inherent limitations to what generative AI can achieve.
Okay.
These models are incredibly good at remixing existing data,
Right.
but they can't truly create something entirely new in the way that humans can.
That's a good point. So while AI can generate impressive results, it still relies on human creativity to set the direction and provide that spark of originality.
Yeah,
We're not going to be replaced by AI artists and musicians just yet.
not quite. The real magic happens when human ingenuity and AI capabilities work together.
Yeah,
It's all about collaboration and pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
that makes sense. But what about the unpredictability of these models? I've heard stories of AI generating outputs that are bizarre, nonsensical, or even disturbing.
Yeah,
Is that a common issue?
it can happen. Generative AI models can sometimes produce unexpected results.
Mm,
This is partly due to the complexity of these systems.
sure.
It's difficult to predict and control every aspect of their behavior.
So there's still an element of mystery and experimentation involved.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect science.
Exactly. And another significant challenge is data dependence.
Okay.
These models need massive data sets to learn and generate realistic outputs.
Right.
This raises questions about access to data, data privacy, and the potential for bias to creep into the results.
Data bias is a serious issue.
Yeah.
Can you explain how that might play out with generative AI?
Sure. If a model is trained on a data set that isn't representative of the real world, its outputs will reflect those limitations.
Right.
For example, if an AI is primarily trained on images of people from a specific demographic, it might struggle to generate realistic images of people from other demographics.
That's a crucial point. We need to ensure the data used to train these models is diverse and inclusive to avoid perpetuating biases and stereotypes.
Right.
Are there any other challenges related to data that we should be thinking about?
Another important consideration is the sheer volume of data required.
Okay.
Training these powerful models requires access to huge data sets, which can be expensive and time-consuming to collect and process.
So there are logistical challenges as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about having the right algorithms, but also having the right data infrastructure to support these models.
Precisely. And as generative AI becomes more powerful and widespread, these data-related challenges will only become more prominent.
Yeah.
It's an area where continued research and innovation are essential.
It sounds like there's a lot to consider beyond the initial excitement of what this technology can create. We
Wow.
need to think carefully about responsible use, data limitations, and the potential for unintended consequences.
You've hit the nail on the head. While the potential of generative AI is immense, it's crucial to approach this technology with a balanced perspective.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of both the opportunities and the challenges it presents.
That's a perfect segue into our next topic. This report also touches on some broader societal implications of generative AI.
Right.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how this technology might impact the world around us.
It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Generative AI has the potential to disrupt industries, redefine jobs, and even challenge our understanding of creativity and innovation.
Let's start with jobs. I think a lot of people are worried about AI automating tasks and potentially leading to job displacement.
Yeah,
Is that a valid concern?
it's a valid concern
Yeah.
and one that we need to address thoughtfully.
Hmm.
As generative AI becomes more sophisticated, it's likely that some tasks currently performed by humans will be automated.
Especially in creative fields where AI is already showing remarkable capabilities.
Yeah, that's right. But it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Okay.
It can augment human capabilities, but it's unlikely to fully replace human creativity and ingenuity.
So it's more about adapting to a changing landscape than fearing a complete takeover by robots.
Exactly. The key is to focus on the areas where humans excel.
Yeah.
Things like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving. These skills will become even more valuable in a world where AI can handle routine tasks.
That's a reassuring perspective. What about the impact on industries? Are there specific sectors that are likely to be most disrupted by generative AI?
It's hard to say for certain, but we can already see the potential for disruption in areas like manufacturing, design, marketing, and entertainment.
Can you give us some specific examples of how generative AI might transform these industries?
Sure. In manufacturing, generative AI could be used to design and optimize production processes, leading to increased efficiency and reduced costs.
Okay.
In design, AI could assist architects and engineers in creating innovative structures and products.
Right.
And in marketing, as we discussed earlier, AI can personalize campaigns and create targeted content that resonates with individual consumers.
It sounds like there's potential for both job creation and job displacement, depending on how we adapt and integrate this technology into different industries.
Absolutely. It's a complex landscape that will require ongoing dialogue, collaboration, and a willingness to embrace new ways of working.
What about the impact on creativity?
Yeah.
If AI can generate art, music, and even code, does that diminish the value of human creativity?
That's a question that philosophers and artists are grappling with right now.
Right.
Some argue that AI-generated art lacks the soul and intentionality of human creation.
Mm-hmm.
Others see it as a new form of artistic expression, one that pushes the boundaries of what's possible and challenges our assumptions about what it means to be creative.
It's a fascinating debate,
It is.
and it's one that's likely to continue as AI becomes even more integrated into our lives.
It is, and it raises interesting questions about intellectual property.
Oh, okay.
If an AI creates a piece of art or music, who owns the copyright? The AI, the developer who created the AI, or is it something entirely new?
Those are tough questions. It seems like our legal frameworks are struggling to keep up with the rapid pace of technological advancement.
It's true, we're entering uncharted territory, and we need to develop new ways of thinking about ownership, authorship, and the value of creative output in the age of AI.
This conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about. It seems like generative AI is not just a technological innovation, but also a cultural and societal force that will have profound implications for the future.
I completely agree. It's a technology that demands careful consideration, ethical reflection, and a commitment to using its power for good.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical details of generative AI to its potential impact on jobs, industries, and even our understanding of creativity.
Right.
But there's still more to explore.
Yeah.
What else does this report have in store for us? It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of what generative AI can do. What other fascinating applications are out there that we haven't discussed yet?
Well, one area that's particularly intriguing is algorithm invention.
Okay.
Generative AI can actually help researchers discover new machine learning algorithms.
Wow.
It's like having an AI assistant that accelerates the process of scientific discovery.
Wait, so AI can help create even more AI?
It is, yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
Traditionally, developing new algorithms has been a very manual and time-consuming process. But generative AI can analyze these vast data sets, identify patterns, and even propose new algorithmic structures that humans might not have considered.
That's incredible. It's like having an AI brainstorming partner that never gets tired. Are there any real-world examples of this happening?
Yeah, researchers are already using generative AI to discover new algorithms for tasks like image recognition, natural language processing, and even drug discovery.
Okay.
It's a rapidly evolving field with the potential to revolutionize how we approach scientific research.
This opens up a whole new world of possibilities. What about the world of NFTs? This report mentions them too.
Right.
Are they connected to generative AI in some way?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
NFTs and generative AI are a really powerful combination.
How so?
Imagine using AI to create unique and valuable digital artwork that can be sold as NFTs. It's blurring the lines between human and machine creativity in really interesting ways.
So AI could become a tool for digital artists and collectors in the NFT space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's already happening. There are platforms where you can buy AI-generated art as NFTs.
Wow.
And the value of these pieces is determined by their uniqueness and the algorithms used to create them.
It's definitely a wild new frontier. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, responsible use.
Right.
The report also emphasizes the need for caution and ethical considerations as generative AI becomes more powerful.
You're absolutely right. It's crucial to approach generative AI with a balanced perspective. While the potential benefits are enormous, we need to be mindful of the potential risks.
Can you elaborate on that? What are some of the specific ethical considerations we should be thinking about?
Well, one important area is transparency.
Okay.
As AI systems become more complex, it can be difficult to understand how they make decisions.
Right.
We need to develop methods for making these systems more transparent and accountable.
So we need to know not just what decisions AI is making, but how it's arriving at those decisions.
Exactly. And then there's the question of bias, which we touched on earlier.
Right.
We need to be vigilant about ensuring that AI systems are fair and don't perpetuate existing societal biases.
It sounds like there's a lot of work to be done to ensure that generative AI is developed and used responsibly.
There is, yeah. It's a shared responsibility that involves researchers, developers, policymakers, and society as a whole.
Hmm.
We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential impact of this technology and work together to create ethical guidelines and regulations.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've gone from barely understanding generative AI to seeing its potential to revolutionize almost every aspect of our lives.
It's truly a transformative technology,
Uh,
and it's only just getting started.
yeah.
The advancements we're seeing today are just a glimpse of what's to come.
So where do we go from here? What advice would you give to our listeners who want to learn more about generative AI and maybe even get involved in this field?
Well, the best advice I can give is to stay curious. Explore the resources available online, experiment with different AI tools, and engage in conversations about the ethical and societal implications of this technology.
Great advice.
And if you're interested in getting more involved, there are plenty of opportunities to learn, contribute, and even build a career in this exciting field.
I couldn't agree more. Generative AI is a powerful force that's shaping the future, and the more we understand it, the better equipped we'll be to navigate its complexities and harness its potential for good. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of discovery.
It was my pleasure. I always enjoy exploring the frontiers of AI, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for this remarkable technology.
And to our listeners, thank you for taking this deep dive with us. Keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, the future is waiting to be created.